I am in love with Lego Mario. But of course, when they first revealed Lego Mario, I was also a little bit upset because obviously I also wanted it to be at minifigure scale. But then I got my hands on it, and it's like, wow, this is great. And some of it is actually still to minifigure scale, which is also pretty great. Now, obviously, the actual characters themselves, the interactive figures, as Lego calls them, obviously they aren't to minifigure scale. Luigi is absolutely massive. Some other characters, though, actually work. Yoshi is just about the size of a regular figure, so realistically, a Lego figure could ride Yoshi's saddle there and, go off into the sunset. However, you would really need to modify Yoshi in order for that to work. The same goes for the pink Yoshi as well. Both of them are pretty much to the same scale. Actually, their builds are the same, except in different colors. So, a minifigure, perfect minifigure scale. But what about the other characters? For the most part, all the Toads are to near perfect minifigure scale, and honestly, they would be pretty good next to minifigures if they weren't already so blocky. Honestly, after pointing that out, it makes Mario and Luigi look like a giant next to these figures, especially the Toad figures. Now, I know what you're thinking, but what about the bosses? Womp is pretty much minifigure scale. Like, it's no contest. You put a minifigure next to Womp, Womp could crush them easily. Bowser also works at minifigure scale. Bowser is usually bigger than the player anyway, so this makes reasonable sense. You'll see Lloyd here is falling over. You'll see that Lloyd here is relatively, about how small Lloyd should be compared to Bowser. But this is a little bit of a weird one because Chain Chomp looks great. However, the scale is a little weird because in the games, Chain Chomp would usually be about the size of Lloyd's torso. However, the giant Chain Chomps, like in Mario 64 or Mario Odyssey, would be much bigger than this. Like in Mario 64, the Chain Chomps are huge, so this scale doesn't really work. This one is gonna hurt a bit because it's the best looking Lego Mario enemy to the scale. But Wiggler, the scale for minifigures, it's weird. It just is. You'll see that compared to Lloyd, the Wigglers just aren't that big in the regular game. Maybe the bigger ones, but even then the bigger ones, they're slightly bigger. One of the weirdest parts is that the Koopa Troopas, they're kind of minifigure scale, right? Usually they would be a little bit smaller, but in Lego form, that's about the smallest they can get without losing that amount of detail. Comparing Lloyd to the Dry Bones, it's however, that's really the best they could do without condensing a Dry Bones into a regular figure. But what's even stranger are the tiny enemies. I mean, their scale works, but they're just a little bit too much of a cube. And some of them are oversized, like Lava Bubble. Lava Bubble is a little too big. Maybe the Mario Maker big Lava Bubble would work. The Goomba, you can make a case for that. The Monty Mole, you can maybe make a case for that too, but they're a little bit oversized. But what about the sets themselves? The Reznor Knockdown set works minifigure scale. It's a good size for a minifigure, and it works for a minifigure. They can stand on the thing, and they can spin around, so it works. However, this is probably the most minifigure scale friendly set. And of course, it's the absolutely stunning Bowser's airship. Look at a minifigure compared to the airship. It works beautifully. If you removed all the enemies, then you could make a case that this is a minifigure friendly set. Even the face in the front and the face on the back, they're all minifigure friendly. You can even kind of say the same for when it's open too. In the games, the hand was gigantic, and here, yeah, it definitely can hold good. Overall, this is another really good minifigure friendly set. So overall, minifigures. Well, they certainly work better than this.